Good evening, parents, students, community, and staff members. I'm Taita Scott. I'm proud to serve as the principal of Woodville Elementary School. Woodville is a community that has a very rich heritage and long tradition of excellence, and I'm proud to serve this great community. You know, we push a lot of things at Woodville. We really focus on literacy, the arts. Behind every great school is a great family, great communities, awesome students, and an amazing staff. And here tonight we have an amazing staff with us. If you're a member of the Woodville Middle School, Woodville Elementary staff, would you please stand and get the applause that you deserve? These are the best teachers in Leon County, best staff in Leon County, without a doubt. We also have with us tonight several district staff members. If you are a district or district service support staff member, would you please stand? We're so proud to have everyone here. And I'll turn it over to Mrs. Stokely. Nancy?
Thank you for being here tonight. This is a wonderful occasion. 2 years ago, when Superintendent Pons came for the community conversation, there was a great interest from our parents in starting a middle school. And with encouragement along the way, we did start a charter middle school that is district managed. So we have the strong curriculum that a district has to offer, and just the best of both worlds in getting it started for our students. And we want to thank Superintendent Pons for his support. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our wonderful Superintendent, Jackie Pons.
Give me a hug. Ms. Stokely, Ms. Scott, all the teachers that are here tonight, I don't need it, okay. Thank you for your leadership. You know, thank you for what you've given to our students. I never go anywhere that I don't start with this type of conversation, that in Leon County schools, we're recognized as one of the highest performing districts in the entire state of Florida, right here. And the reason why is not only these great administrators, but all of these great teachers and support staff. And let's give them a big hand for what they do for our students every day. Thank you. I'm going to take a few minutes first to thank the Woodville community. It wasn't long ago that I came down here and we were in this room, and you talked to me about a vision that you had, a vision that one day your children would be able to start school here and go all the way through 8th grade right here in this community. And you said for a long time people had talked about it. And they said one day your day would come, but the day just never did quite come around. We always had some reason we couldn't quite do it. Well, I want to tell you, as your superintendent, I listened to you. I listened to what you had to say, and I told you we'd get this done. And today, and I'm here, and I'm proud, we're right on the verge of having a complete K-8 right here. We've already got, you know, the 6th grade started with 80-something students. You multiply that times 3, I can still do it, you know. You're 240 and growing. We picked up 50 to 60 new students in our elementary. I'm going to count them too. That's 200 new students right here at Woodville. And the reason why it happened, I would love to take credit for it, but let me tell you who deserves the credit. You deserve the credit, because it was your dream, it was something you believed in, and you never quit on it. And I think there's a lesson in that more powerful than anything I can say for our children. There's a lesson to be said in life that if you believe in something strong enough and you work hard towards it, it can happen. There's a lesson in that to believe that it really doesn't matter where you come from. It really doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't really matter if you don't have the same things as somebody else has. You can be anything in life that you want to be, children, if you believe it. And you work toward it, just like your parents, your grandparents, and this Woodville community work toward this dream. So I'm proud to be a small part of it, but the individuals that are here, you're the major reason why this happened. And thank you. People like Miss Adams. Where's Miss Adams? Is she around here? Stand up. God bless you for your leadership, for what you did. And she represents every one of you. And I could name 20 others or 50 others, but thank you so much for what you did. As we start, I'm only going to take 20 minutes, I promise, because I had to get here early and start cooking fish. And I had to peel the shrimp, and the coleslaw is my mother's recipe that I had a long time. But I do want to ask, we started a new superintendent's challenge this year. If you'll look right here, you'll see the goals. It's called the Million Book Challenge. I wanted to read 1 million books for our students. I believe reading is critical for our students to improve. You know, I'm not about test scores. Test scores are fine, but what I want our children to do is to be lifelong readers, to love to read, and to learn how every day to get up and say, grandmother, me mama, mom, whatever you call her, would you read with me tonight? Or can I read 20 minutes to you? And if we do that as a community and as a family, our children will be better readers because they'll be lifelong readers. The test scores will take care of themselves. You know, we're over-testing our students around this state. We got to get a handle on this. We got to get back to realizing that the reason why kids come to school every day is because of great teachers. We need to cut the red tape and let them make the curriculum decisions in the classroom and quit just teaching to test. We're not going to do that in Leon County. And we're going to keep education with what I call local control. This is a perfect example. You needed a middle school. You fought for a middle school. Now you're going to have a middle school. You know, local control. Nobody needs to make decisions for you. You can make them for yourself. And you need to be able to communicate that to your elected leaders, to people that will listen, and that way they can carry out your vision. But our students are important to be lifelong readers. The homework I'm giving you, parents, I can still give you a little homework. Let's all read with our children every chance we can. Let's sit down with them. Let's get them out from TVs are fine. These video games are fine. But let me tell you something. It's way more important that we read with our children every night. Get them off those video games. Let's read with them every night. Let's let them know what they need to do. That's what we need to be doing. And if we do that and we read together, we'll stay together. So I'm going to ask right now, as part of this presentation tonight, we're already at 100,000. I need some of the students. Do I have some students here that would help me, that would come up here? Come on up here with me right now. Some of my students, come on with me. Right here. Y'all to gather around. Right here, let's look up there. Look at this. I like this. This high fives. Anybody got me a high five? Yeah, this is what I like right here. Here's our goal. Look at this. We got books. Look at this. Okay, move this direction just a little bit. Come on down here and get in this. And I'm going to put this right here. And now we're at 150,000 books for our school district. So let's give that a big hand. I see we're still taking a few pictures. Okay, thank you, students. Have a seat. Thank you so much. Good job. I want to say something about community support and parent involvement, because this is Parent Involvement Night, and this is why it's important that you know this, and this is what we believe. It's not what I believe. If we're involved with our children, whether we're parent involvement, and I always talk, I saw a grandparent here tonight, an elder right in the back, I saw him talking, grandparents involved, aunts involved, sisters involved, we know that our children have a better chance for success if we'll stay involved with them. So one of the things tonight is to thank you for being involved with your children. This is the most important resource that we have in our community is our children, because they're going to take our places one day. They're going to be the ones that are going to be sitting in here and being the ones involved in our schools and our school advisory councils. So what we have to do is do everything that we can to help them to be successful. Now, being involved, there's a lot of ways you can be involved. And I want to tell you something tonight. You've heard of a district advisory council. We got members of our district advisory council that are here tonight, and they're involved in looking at everything that goes on within our district. You have a school advisory council that meets, and they let you know the dates of the meeting. And you have a right to go to that meeting even if you're not on the school advisory. They want you there so you can listen and know what's going on and spread the good news about your school. That's part of being involved. You got PTOs, you got PTAs, you've got all kinds of organizations that we can be involved in together, because we can't take for granted that we're one of the highest performing school districts in the state. We've got to keep working hard every day to maintain that, and we need your help on that. So I'm inviting you, please be involved just like you are tonight. There's something for you in our schools. We started last year a new program, a Superintendent's Challenge. We needed 500 new mentors for our children. I went out into the faith-based community, met with pastors across our community, met with community leaders. I said, would you join the call to service? Would you be part of a call to action to mentor our children, to be with them, to let them know that they can be successful? We didn't get 500 new mentors. We got 1,000 new mentors. 1,000 new mentors in our schools. Now, mentors is another way you can be involved. Not only mentoring your own children, but you can mentor another child. I did it last year with my wife, and we went out and mentored a student, and I think I got more out of that than she did, just being with her and sharing in the experiences that she was having and helping her to be successful. Volunteers. We need volunteers in our schools. We need volunteers that will come in every day and work with our principals and our teachers to help them to be successful. Another way you can be involved. Tonight is an important night to me because it starts out the first of 10 straight community conversations, one a month. I go out into the community and I get a chance to see you, to shake your hands. If you have some questions to ask, I'll certainly do my best to answer them. And it always feels good to start down at Woodville, because I want to tell you a story about Woodville that is special to me as we close and take a few questions. I watch this community where you have a lot of individuals doing a lot of different things. But one thing that is in common, regardless of any situation, regardless which church you go to, regardless your race, your religion, or any factor, you love this community. And you come together to support the same ideas for the community. And you know, if we could do that everywhere throughout this state, we'd have a better state. If we could come together with a common purpose to work together toward our goals. And I see that here every day. I know growing up, students, as a young student, as when I was in school, I remember experiences that happened to me, and you'll remember those the rest of your life. It might be a trip that you took somewhere. It might have been a chance that you got to go visit one of your grandparents in a different city. It might have been an opportunity to go to the beach and stay with a friend, but experiences last a lifetime. Growing up, we were Future Farm Family of the Year. I grew up in farming. My dad was a farmer. He ran cattle. He did that, so I got to grow up. Did a lot of hunting on the farm. and enjoyed that and did that. But the experience I had being Future Farm Family of the Year, I remember that because we lived way out in the country. I was raised on Meridian Road, about 10 miles out of town, and I caught a bus off a dirt road right there, and I remember that experience waiting for the bus when it was cold. You know, so when parents call me and talk about bus stops, I understand because I've been there. I've caught the bus before, okay? So I know what it's like when it's cold and you're out there and you forgot your jacket and you're waiting on the bus, because I have been there. But my experience with that has actually helped me to be a better superintendent, because sometimes when I get those calls, I can relate because I had been there. And when I was raised 10 miles out of town and we got a chance to be Future Farm Family of the Year, we got a chance to go into town to be recognized. So as a young person, when they called you up there and I got a chance to go up there and be recognized as one of the outstanding Future Farm Family in the entire state of Florida, I remember that. So that's why I tell us every day, and to get to the important message on this, that's why we have to praise our children every day. We have to recognize them for their successes. We have to recognize our teachers, and we have to let them know how important they are when they come in, because that affects them forever, and it's very, very important. We've done some good things in our district. We moved our buses from diesel to compressed natural gas. We've got 45 of them right now. Our goal is to get all of them. They're cleaner, they're safer. The fuel's made in America. We've got to quit this addiction to this foreign oil that we're having to deal with. You see what's going on every day. We got to do things differently. And as a school system, we started and led in that direction. I'm proud of it. Ronnie Youngblood is here, that is responsible for our maintenance department, that helped make sure that we had all the portables out here to open up that middle school. Ronnie, thank you. Thank the maintenance department. Our transportation department, it takes a whole team working together. But like I said, I'm going to take a few questions, but I want to thank you for being here tonight. I want to thank you for showing up. And also, I want to let you know how supportive I am of this community, and how what you did as a community has influenced me. And I'm proud that I got the opportunity to listen to you about this new middle school. And 3 years from now, we'll be back here, and we'll be talking about 300 kids that are out there going in this middle school, and you'll be asking me when we're going to build a gym. That's probably, you'll probably be saying that, right? Or when we're going to do something else. But we'll be here. So thank you.
I would like for the Woodville Middle School Board of Directors to please stand so the people in the community will know who you are.
Woodville Board of Directors, right here.
That we all work together along with Ms. Stokely and with our superintendent, Ms. Beverly Owens, and all of those people that helped make this possible.
Especially Beverly.
And all of them, yes, especially Ms. Beverly.
Owens did it.
Yes, she is excellent at what she does, but community, this is us.
Absolutely.
And for those of you that, when you gave up a little bit and said we weren't going to get there, we have arrived. We have arrived, Woodville. Still in the gap for us, even when things got a little rough. But you know what? I want to thank you personally.
Thank you. One right here, and I'll take one. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I was trying for a bus stop. We live 0.8 of a mile away, but there's no walkway. It's probably about 5 roads down.
Right, this is a good question. I appreciate this.
I've been denied for a bus stop, but I have a kindergartner, a 6th grader, and a 5th grader. There's no walkway, no way for them to get home, and I have to provide transportation. I don't have a problem with it in the mornings as I do the afternoons because of work.
Right.
I'm having to take off way earlier. I'm getting 5 hours in a day because I have to get back here from Tallahassee. So it's a problem. What steps more do I need to take?
Let me tell you what we need to do. And this is a good question for everybody. And and I'm not one that says they do this and we do that, but we don't do the sidewalks, you know, and to get sidewalks done like this, we have to go through our county, you know, to make sure they understand. And it's got to be just like it was down here, is to make sure that we're talking to our county commissioners and letting them know, because I feel like, and I feel very strongly about this, that we should have sidewalks that are connecting all of our schools with our children have to walk to it, because it's a safety issue and we want to make sure. And we need that help, you know, especially with that. So who is your county commissioner here? Does anybody know? Jane Sauls. And I will mention it to her, but I think what you really need to do is you need to get in front of a county commission meeting. There's a committee they have related to sidewalks, to implementing them, and get that done. And I'll support you in any way, even a letter of reference. If you need a letter from me, I'll write one, because I agree with you. I want them connected what we can get, because they won't allow us to provide transportation except, what's the limit? Is it 2 miles, I'm sorry, 2 miles. So, you know, and if we started doing that, we would be in deep trouble. But if we're not, we need to have those sidewalks that connect. And if you notice, the older a school is, usually the more problems you have, because a lot of times they're trying to address this now as they're building new schools to make sure that they're doing that. So it really puts us in a disadvantage down here to do it, but I'd be glad to help you with that.
Okay.
And it's a good question, and we need that everywhere. So another good question. And I saw Ms. Mears, yes, and one here, and then I promise we'll get moving.
My question is about high-stakes testing. I know you have concerns about it with the new testing that's coming in for the 2015, and the fact that many of the scores are going to plummet.
Absolutely.
They talk about 37%, as high as 67% of these kids are going to fail these tests. My question to you is, well, this isn't a question, I guess. There are many districts around the state of Florida that are now signing resolutions against high-stakes testing. I know that Lee County decided to get rid of district testing K through 5. Is there something that we can do as a district, with you as a board, to start having the conversation of enough is enough of these high-stakes testing and everything that's attached to it, regards to the students and teachers?
Absolutely. Here's what I think we can do, that we're looking at doing, is there's been probably, you're going to see more and more districts pass the same resolution. And I think that's a step in the right direction, and I'm not sure a lot will happen with that. You know, what I'm doing is writing a letter to the commissioner related to testing, as far as going through this and trying to get in front of the state board. And I think it's real important. I mean, Ms. Pierce, you know me, you know how I feel about this. We've got to make sure that the people that represent us understand what we need to do related to this, because our problem that we've got now, we're testing children so much that, and we're using the media centers, we're using the academic enrichment, that we're taking away from teachers' opportunities to teach in the classroom. And this is mandated through state law. So even the district that opted out, they opted back in, you know, because they found out about their, you know, the high school diplomas and all the others. So they got us boxed in on this. But what we've got to do is make sure that even if we don't agree on everything, that we agree that we're over-testing our students. And one of the things we did in Leon County that a lot of other area districts didn't do, they cut art, music, and PE out of their elementary schools. And you know, we refused to do that, because that's why children get up and want to come to school every day. And that was done because of over-testing the students, because they had to pull them out of their electives, to cancel their electives, to give them more reading, writing, and math. And we know that's not a successful formula. So I think being advocates, and you've been a consistent advocate, I can say that because you've been at least to 6 school board meetings, but again, I appreciate that, and I'm going to write this, but again, being advocates for this and supporting the same vision. One here, then you, Ms. Owen.
I have a question. At the beginning of your conversation, you said that reading was critical.
Yes, ma'am.
If the child does not know the alphabet, or they're not being taught the phonics, that child is not going to be able to read, correct? So my question is, what would you do to implement something that would ensure that the children know the alphabet, their phonics, because that starts in pre-K.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've been doing reading camps for like about 3 years. This past year, it was awful. We had children in first grade, did not know the alphabet, could not make any sounds, let alone play anything. So as superintendent, what would you implement to make sure district-wide that that's taken care of?
Great question. Let me tell you what we've already done that ties into this. You know, there's a mandatory third grade retention, for children that can't read at certain levels, and they mandatory hold those children back, and they make them go to what's called a reading academy during the summer, and they're required to go to that. I felt like you did, that third grade is too late. If we don't have it by pre-K, first grade, it is very difficult to catch the children. It makes it very hard. So we changed our philosophy in Leon County. We started with a first grade. Even though the state said you had to do third, we started with first just to get all of it. Everything you say, and I would say much more. Because if the children don't have those fundamentals at that early grade level, then it gets more and more difficult. Now, they can be caught up. I'm not saying they can't, but it becomes more difficult. So we've already implemented that. One of the things that we did this summer is we did professional development with all of our teachers that are in reading and math to bring them in under the new standards, because Ms. Mears is right. If children are already struggling with the standards that we have today that we're testing, this test is going to be much more difficult. It's going to be, in some states, you had a 60% drop in test scores related to this. So we've got to continue putting our resources in younger grades, first grade, pre-K, kindergarten, to get our children ready. Because if we don't do that and we just wait to third grade, it's too late. Okay, it's too late. And I'm going to tell you something that people don't believe, and I believe it, and I think a lot of you believe it. Getting to be a good reader is not just about passing a reading test. It's learning how to love to read and being a lifelong reader and looking forward to reading every day. That's what helps our children. And I believe that. But I'll continue that and continue any ideas you share with me, and we'll go from there.
What options, how are you doing the opt-out? There's a huge movement across the state to opt out of the test. So what is your district doing? What is Leon County doing to help parents with this and not make it such an adversarial relationship? And that's question one. And number two is, what tests are you rolling back from the district? Because there's state tests and then there's district tests. So a lot of schools...
Another good question. Right. Well, one of the issues with the district test is the mandatory EOCs, end of course exams. And when I say that, make sure everybody understands, is the state is now wanting to require that we provide an end of course exam for every credit that's given from high school, which would be about 1,100 end of course exams. Okay, I've been very vocal about that, and I'll continue. We've not developed those, I'll be honest with you, because some of them were developed. They were developed early, but we have not put tons of resources in that because I feel like it's a state responsibility. The opt-out, lately, that's been growing, and I've been reading about it. We've been monitoring. We really haven't created any type of policy yet. I'm sure it'll come up before our school board and we'll address it. Usually in the past with parents, we've been very flexible with our parents to give them the opportunity on certain things that they didn't believe in doing, and we'll continue that. And again, this will be something that we'll be discussing. I read about it today in several districts about opt-out, but it has grown, and I think you'll see more of that unless they reduce the amount of time that we're testing our children. Thank you. All right, I'm going to wind it up. Thank you for being here. I'm going to hang around. Please tell me after we're through if you liked the way we prepared the coleslaw. I want to thank the Seigneur, my good friends, for being here tonight. Thank you so much.